Welcome back. To safely run a renewable system, we need leading infrastructure and more flexibility. And the link between both of these things is digitalization. And that brings us onto the next topic. We have Michael van Roeder with us, Elia Group's Chief Digital Officer. Michael, we are evolving from a traditional group of transmission system operators to a group of digital transmission system operators. Information technology is increasingly relevant. How would you pitch our digitalization strategy?
IT is the foundation for any digitalization strategy, and therefore we evolve IT. Yesterday, IT was basically a cost and service center, and today IT is becoming a business enabler, a product development unit essentially. And in addition, IT converges with our operational technology. So our grid assets, the new ones, they become smarter and become more IT-driven.
Yeah, you also have more execution real-time. Digitalization helps there as well. What you also see is that you have digital interfaces. That digitalization is not only in our own country, in our own company, I mean, but it goes much farther. It goes beyond our company.
It goes way beyond. It also goes way beyond different countries, by the way. In essence, digitalization opens the energy systems to new parties, be it startups, be it consumers who use EVs or heat pumps. And what it enables, they can control their energy management much better as consumers. Our job is to create a level playing field for everybody, to enable all those parties to become this integral part of the energy system. And that way, digitalization not only benefits our company, but it benefits every single consumer and with that society. So what we do is create a win-win.
Yeah, indeed. It also helps to master the growing complexity of our activities. Can you give some examples to make it concrete?
There's obviously plenty of examples. I'll make a few. Digitalization can enhance decision-making, be it controlling the grid, but also financial decision-making, these kind of things. It enables better stakeholder interaction. For instance, when we build something, we want to interact with society to explain things. You can use digital means for that. And it also can be used to automate tasks. Keep in mind, you know, and Peter's going to talk about this later, we need a lot of more people, but we also have a lot of more work. So automation is, I think, very important. All this we have to do in a robust and cybersecure way.
Yeah, cybersecurity, you mentioned it. That might be something to pay more attention to, given the fact that we open the system to those millions of electrical devices that will come.
Yeah, indeed. What we do is we open the system, which increases, at the first instance, it increases the risk because open is more risky. So what we have to do is we adopt a new cybersecurity strategy, which is called Zero Trust strategy, which means always verify, never trust as a mindset. Yesterday, we had what we call perimeter security. You can imagine that like a big castle with big walls, which was our company systems with which we controlled the grid. Tomorrow and today, every single house within those walls will have to be defended, and extending that to the whole energy system, every single system in the energy system has to be defended. So that extends our reach as TSO, being responsible to make the whole system secure. And that's what we do with that.
Yeah. The digital transformation, it has a technical dimension. So it involves the hardware, the software, connectivity, data processing. But there is also a business dimension that focuses more on the opportunities, the successful implementation of the transformation. Let's start maybe with that technical dimension. What will this involve?
So what we chose to do is what we call a platform approach. So before we had one silo for one problem. So we built a system, a software system, we bought servers for one problem. Now we try to develop common capabilities as a platform, and that means we can share capabilities between applications. The side effect, by the way, is that the data is also being shared, which will become important when you think about AI and such things. This gives us speed, it gives us flexibility and also cost savings, and it avoids for us vendor lock-in with a single software or hardware vendor, and it increases resilience and, as we mentioned before, cybersecurity. Yeah,
so you go from the silos to a platform, but that on its own doesn't create any value. So therefore you need also business transformation. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. Yeah. Technology is never value as such. It enables creating business value, as you said. So what we do there is we bring business experts and software developers together, building joint teams. So we not only remove the technical silos, but also the organizational silos and create new ways of working.
Yeah. Can you give some examples again?
I can give some examples. Katrin already mentioned earlier today our vision paper on flexibility, which describes the need of consumer-side flexibility. For that, we have a product team, which is called Consumer Centricity, which builds a number of digital products.
Yeah, okay, let's make this a little bit more concrete to our audience. One digital solution that was recently launched is the so-called multiple BRP. Industrial players connected to the Elia grid will have the option to split their consumption in two, a flexible and non-flexible consumption. And we have a short video to share with you about it.
In the future, the system will require more flexibility to keep the energy transition affordable and reliable. Elia Group is working hard to make this possible and unlock the real power of flexibility. For example, by laying the groundwork for flexible assets to find their way to the market. For this, allowing multiple balance responsible parties behind the meter can have a huge effect. They make it possible to split the site's flexible and non-flexible assets. For each asset, the BRP can offer a tailor-made financial optimization. This gives more opportunities to the site owner and also increases competition for energy services behind the meter. Imagine an industrial site with two BRPs. Production processes are optimized by a BRP with a fixed and risk-free energy contract. The company knows how much electricity this non-flexible process needs and doesn't want to incur risk on its energy supply. But the site also has batteries, PVs and EVs. For these flexible assets, the company has another BRP that performs financial optimization based on dynamic market prices.
Yeah, that is a digital solution, Michael, for our customers. Can you also give an example of how digitalization can improve our own operations as a system operator?
Sure. The first one which comes to mind is our modular control center system, which basically replaced the current stack of EMS, energy management system, and SCADA systems going forward. This will support our operators in the control center to control the grid, which becomes more complex as we established, but also will support our offshore platforms to manage them and control them. So here we have a perfect example of the platform strategy I mentioned. We reuse roughly 80% of the capabilities between those two applications. And basically that means we take our destiny in terms of our core business in our own hand. Doesn't mean we don't buy any software, but the base platform we do in-house. So we talk about software, digitization and data.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Michael, for this update on digitalization. The MCCS project that Michael mentioned is on track to reach full implementation by 2025. And recently, the MCCS team hosted internal events in Berlin and Brussels, providing updates on their work. They impressed the audience with demonstrations which showcased the potential of MCCS.
In a world where the electricity system is nearly 100% based on renewables, it's extremely relevant to be able to manage this system. We will see more volatility, we will see more incidents, so we need automatization and digitalization.
MCCS stands for the Modular Control Center System, and this is our Elia Group approach to creating a new future-driven environment for the control centers.
It will become very complex to manage the system with a lot of renewables and many actors reacting to price signals, and the human will be unable to manage all that, and so for that we need to develop algorithms to support the operators and execute the actions that are needed.
We experienced in the past that regular products from the market cannot really fulfill the needs we have. So that's why MCCS is really something that we urgently need, because we really need a new control system in order to manage the energy transition.
What we learned in the past is that if you use the classical way and you just organize a tender and then the big software companies respond to it, then it takes 7 to 8 years to implement a new system in a control room. That's simply too long. So by building it ourselves, by building functionalities, we really hope that in a few months' time we can create new products and react to new problems arising.
For our control center colleagues, it's quite important to have a visualization of the complete grid. You can see now here that there is an incident. We can directly zoom into this point and getting the first information about this incident. There is a current limit, and based on this current limit, the control center colleagues can now start to observe more in detail what is behind this incident. This is quite helpful for the control center colleagues to have a very short way to get new information and notices about events.
50Hz and Elia have the same challenges. They are facing the same future. So in two brains you have more than in one. So by working together we can actually find more creative solutions on the one hand side and being quicker in developing them.
We are creating some components on our own, but we are creating also the architecture which makes it possible to having a kind of community or collaboration. And this community and collaboration is open for other TSOs and DSOs and energy partners to be directly involved and also creating new components which fit into this environment.
Collaboration is quite essential because as TSOs we are facing a lot of the same challenges, and especially when it comes to digitalization. Digitalization is an enabler that actually make it possible for us to solve our problems. And I think we are clever if we collaborate so we can increase the speed.